Should be live. All right, hello Gypsies. We are ending this week of Nurses Week, so I hope you all had a great one. You got great gifts from everybody. If you didn't, you're still an awesome nurse, so don't worry if you didn't get anything from the hospitals or from your agencies. You're still great, but just a really great week seeing all these great nurses and all that stuff. So we are bringing on another nurse, Joanne. She's from GHR. So welcome, Joanne. This is their first time going live with us. They're going to talk about any lingering COVID-19 questions that you have. I know we've been in this for a little while, but we have a little bit more questions that we need answered. So GHR is coming on here to answer those. So hello, Joanne.
Hi, how are you, Rachel? First, Thank you, Rachel, and for GHR, for Gypsy Nurse for having us. My name is Joanne Lee, and I'm a nurse. I'm the Director of Quality Assurance for GHR Travel Division. And I just wanted to, welcome everybody and thank all of you, because I know this has not been an easy road. I mean, being a nurse to begin with has been tough. And I want to applaud all of you and just tell you how, I know you may not think this way, but this is probably the best time to be a nurse. And even though it's probably the toughest days you've ever had to work, going forward, you are now going to be put on pedestals everywhere you go. I think for years, and I've been doing this for over 30 years, nurses have never been looked at in a positive light like they are today. We are the heroes. You're essential people working out there. And I think that the whole world now looks at nurses and say, wow, I want to do this. And I can't believe what you guys are doing. You're the heroes of our nation and of our world. And it's true. And I just think that all of you should applaud yourselves and take it in and know that going forward, you're always going to be in a positive light. Because I know from the day I started from nursing, you had to get out of your chair and give it to the doctor. Nobody would really look at a nurse and have any respect. I think you've now gained and earned the respect all of you so deserve for forever. And also, just so you know, on that note, being the end of Nurses Appreciation Week, yesterday was also Florence Nightingale's birthday, and GHR is a fundraising effort, which we're doing for this year as a thank you to what's going on out there, have gotten involved in a charity organization called Direct Relief that's going to be supplying PPE equipment to medical staffing. And as part of that, GHR is putting the effort out to raise funds. And yesterday they made a large donation because it was Florence Nightingale's birthday. And just to say thank you and to give thanks and appreciation back to all of the nurses out there. On another note, just to say that, GHR has been doing this for a lot of years, been in business for over 25 years. And that, we, like I said, we appreciate every single one of you and what you've done, and did look at some of the questions that you did present to us. But before we start getting on to any of those topics, I would like to just introduce some of our wonderful staff so you can meet them and get to know who we are and exactly what we do. So Cheryl, if you want to start introducing yourself and then hand it over.
Hi, I can't wait for everyone to meet our panel today. You're all in good hands today, and we're excited to talk about the topics that you want to discuss, then any questions that you have. Also, I'm really excited, we're giving away an Echo Dot today. So if you ask a question, Rachel from Gypsy has been kind enough to gather the names of everyone that is asking a question. And at the end of our session, we will announce the winner. So we'd love to hear from you. We want to hear your questions. I'm Cheryl Wilhelm. I'm the president of GHR Travel Nursing, and I'll have everyone introduce themselves, but we have a really good panel. We're ready to answer any questions that you have. I have two division managers here today, Carrie and Rachel, and they manage a large team of recruiters. And I have Britt. Britt is our senior account manager. So any questions you might have of what type of jobs are out there, where should we go next, she'll be able to answer that question as she covers the country. And then we met Joanne already. Joanne is our director of quality assurance. And she has, how many years do you have, Joanne, being a nurse?
Over 30 years.
Over 30 years. So among all of us, we have a lot of staffing experience too. And we just want to have a good conversation with you and answer any questions you might have. So Carrie Ann, do you want to go first?
Sure. My name is Carrie Ann Boniface. I am a division manager at GHR Travel Nursing. I recruited for 5 years before stepping into this role. And now I've been managing for a couple of years, and it's just been an honor to work with nurses for this long. You all are incredible, and I really appreciate what you do.
Okay, Rach.
Hi, my name is Rachel Van Duzen. I'm also a division manager here at GHR Travel Nursing. Just like Carrie Ann, I manage a team of recruiters who staff wonderful nurses like yourself. Prior to this, I recruited travel nurses for 5 years, so I was able to form some really great friendships with a lot of my nurses. Before that, I attended nursing school, so I know firsthand the hard work and dedication it takes to be a nurse. So thank you from all of us at GHR for all of the sacrifices that you've been making.
Okay, Britt.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brittany Anton. I am the senior account manager at GHR Travel Nursing. I've been in the industry for about 6 years. I started as a recruiter, and now I am more on the client side of things as account manager. So I've seen it from both sides, from the hospital side of things and the nurse side of things. So it's definitely helped me get an understanding for where each side is coming from in certain situations. So again, like everybody said, I'll echo it. We really appreciate everything that you guys do on a day-to-day basis, and especially right now during this COVID pandemic.
Yeah, it's been crazy, hasn't it, guys? Week to week, it's been different every single week. So for the past 8 weeks, we think we have a handle on it, and everything changes again. So, we thought what we would do is start first with some of the hot topics. And first, before we do that, though, can we give everybody a big virtual hug, all of the nurses that are on this today? Thank you for all you do. I know, we really appreciate all of you. And we want to hear from you. So we'll start with some of the hot topics first to give you a chance to ask questions. And then, Joe, we're going to lead this. So you could start with some of the hot topics. We'll answer some of the questions. And then as you get questions, why don't you ask some of the questions and we'll go with the flow.
Okay, so one of the questions was what specialties will be headed for and available in the next couple of months going forward?
I'll take this one.
Okay.
All right. So what we're seeing right now is we got to take a look at the states that are opening up. So any of the states that are opening are starting to open up their elective surgeries. So I think that you're going to see a lot of OR, IR, ICU. It has been a whirlwind, like Cheryl said. So every week we're seeing new openings in all different areas. I think we're always going to have those steady Eddie positions, the med surge, the teles, the PCUs, the step downs. But I would keep an eye on the states that are opening up because all of those OR, the PACUs, the IR, I think they're going to be really hot coming up.
Yeah, so what we're doing right now is, it's a guess, like who's going to open first. But we thought that probably the best way to gauge that, and working with Britt and our account manager team too, is to look at the states that are beginning to open. So Britt will talk to that a little bit as well. But I think that's where more positions will begin to open up faster. That's what we're predicting too. Don't you guys think?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think it's going to be a trickle-down effect. You're going to get more ORs. There's going to be more ER situations going on, more hospitalizations. So everything is kind of going to flow one into the next because without people having surgeries, without people even getting out in the public, you're seeing less hospitalizations. And most of the hospitals are probably down 30-40% of their capacity. So once you start opening things up, we are going to see a rise in populations and a rise in needs.
Okay. All right, good. Anything else on that, guys?
So I think that kind of also goes along with upcoming hot spots. Is anything you wanted to add to that? Any of you for hot spots that you think?
I'll jump in on that, being the account manager and dealing with the hospital side. I think that, again, like what Rachel said with the specialties, we do have to look at some of the states that are starting to open up. We're going to see a shift where the hotspots were like the New York, the New Jersey, the California, where there was this big crisis where we needed all of the nurses to move to that area of the country, where now as the states start to open up, I think there's going to be some new hotspots of where the surgeries are opening, where just the state in general is opening up and people are out going back to normal life. I think GHR personally, we have a kind of low steady needs and a strong presence in areas like Maryland, Pennsylvania, specifically Philadelphia. We have Kentucky, the Carolinas, New Jersey, especially with New Jersey being compact, it definitely helps getting nurses there. So I think hotspot wise, it's kind of tough to say because it depends on who opens up and at what rate. But I think there's going to be a major shift.
Well, we saw in the beginning, like the first couple weeks, oh my Lord, we didn't know really what was going on. All of the OR and anything related to OR, right, guys, was being canceled.
Yeah.
And it was just like 1 and then 2 and then 10 and then 15. I mean, we had so many. And then we saw a shift because what did we see then start happening was ICU was becoming really hot needs. And we saw a lot of the crisis rates then. And now we're starting to see the med surge, right? Med surge seems to be trickling back in a little bit as well, right? We're seeing orders for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think too, flexibility is going to be key also to, where you're going to go, what's going to be open and, until everything opens up.
Who wants to talk about flexibility? Because that has been such a topic for us with our nurses.
I can take it.
Okay.
So flexibility is absolutely key right now. I know usually you can pinpoint a place that you want to go to and we can end up finding you a job there. But right now you really have to be flexible in order to have a job and keep a steady paycheck. There are so many nurses who are unfortunately out of work right now, be it travel nurses or staff nurses. And so the market's very competitive. So as long as you go into it with an open mind and just the mentality of being flexible, then we can absolutely keep you working and keep a steady paycheck for you.
Yeah, what's hard right now is I know that every nurse likes to go to certain areas, but Carrie, you have some examples of duos and 3 nurses that are going together. They're picking places they never have gone before, right? And so I want you to talk to a little bit. And they're going as friends. And we have a really good referral program too. So can you talk to that a little bit? I think it's kind of fun. They're exploring and being adventurous on where the jobs are.
Definitely. We've seen in the last couple of weeks, we've seen an uptick in travel trios and travel duos. It looks as though, and it's a fabulous idea. Pick your best travel nursing friend and go to an area that perhaps you haven't thought of before, somewhere where you never thought that you would end up. But if you go with a friend, you have a familiar face, you have someone that you know, and you can both take an adventure together. I also, like Cheryl mentioned, I want to mention our referral program. We have an incredible referral program. When you're an active nurse with us, for every single active nurse that you refer to us and you're both working, you'll earn $1 per hour for every one of those nurses that they work. And there's no cap to this. So we right now, especially throughout, what's recently been happening, we have nurses who are making car payments off of their referral bonuses, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, we love our referral program. But it's really fun because we're seeing more nurses traveling together, which I think is so cool. So, maybe you'd be a little afraid to go to an area you've never been to before, or maybe you're a first-time traveler that just got furloughed, or perhaps, got laid off. I don't know, maybe this is a good time to try travel nursing too. Or maybe some of you who are travelers, you could talk your friend into going, and we can help you. We have real good recruiters that love first-time travelers that can walk through the process. It's a process. So we can walk you through the entire process so you know what to do. Let us take the fear away of going somewhere away from home and help you out a little bit. And you might end up really loving travel nursing too. So if you want to work, there are jobs out there, but you might have to be just a little more open and a little more flexible on where you want to go. I also, guys, I want to talk about extensions. Take them. If you are getting an extension where you are right now, the market is just a little tense. I don't know, right? And I think everything's going to come back. But if you have an extension and you're happy where you are right now and you're getting offered that, I would take the extension. If you can take it for another 13 weeks, go ahead and do that while everything flushes out. Don't you guys agree?
Completely agree.
100%.
Yeah. Who can talk about talking to the manager too? Because I think that's a good tip. Sometimes, the job may not be extending, but can you talk about talking to the manager? Rachel?
I'll take that. Yeah, so can I tie cancellations into that a little bit? Because I know that's a big question they're asking about too. The biggest thing, so for cancellations, the best advice I can give you is to develop a close relationship with your manager. I mean, you guys are the ones who are on the front lines. You're at the hospital. Sometimes we have to go through a different channel to relay our message to the manager. And sometimes it takes a little bit. So with you guys being there, you have the opportunity to get the answer very quickly and to have that relationship. You might be less likely to be canceled if you have that relationship with your nurse manager, because of the fact that if they're looking at doing cancellations, you might be able to talk to them and they may cancel the person they don't know as opposed to the person that they have a closer relationship with. So I think that's really important. Also for cancellations, if it is happening, ask if you can switch to a similar unit. Sometimes they have openings in different places that we don't even know about yet, that maybe just came out that day. And if they really, really like you, a lot of times they do want to keep you. So know that a lot of times the cancellations aren't for anything that you're doing wrong. It's just a lot of times the budget with the hospital. Last but not least, I want to mention, just know that when you take a crisis assignment, the money is so fantastic, but you are taking a chance. You're taking a chance in regards to last minute cancellations. I think last week is probably our first stable week we've had without a handful of cancellations. Do you guys agree with that?
Oh, totally.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a whirlwind. So the money is fantastic, but think about the job security too. You want to make sure that you have a steady paycheck coming in and you're keeping your foot in the door somewhere. So just keep that in mind when the cancellations do come up.
Yeah, things are so fluid right now too. And it is every week, right, guys? We do a call like every day and it's been different. I mean, our calls have been totally like what is going on in the market. So I would suggest get with a good recruiter and, let them, they have their fingers are on the pulse of what's going on because we're talking with Britt, you're talking to the clients every single day. Guys, all of your recruiters are talking to other nurses every day. So we know what's going on. Joanne, you are in constant communication with everyone on what's going on with COVID and all of that. And we don't know what will happen when all this again. Will we have another resurgence of this? We don't know. So if you do not have a good recruiter, get with a really good recruiter that will keep you up to date as to what is going on. And if they're telling you that it's been up and down, they are telling you the honest to God truth, right, guys? Because this is I've been in the industry a long time. This is the craziest time I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. What's great too is that the recruiters will elevate the phone, any kind of conversations to me if there's a concern at the facility you're in or anything you want to talk to, because I'm a nurse myself, so I can relate to where you are, what you're going through. And, probably the biggest thing is making sure you're safe. We want to know that all our heroes there wear masks and we want to make sure that you're protected and the big issues with the PPE. And one of the things is before anybody goes to any assignment, you always want to make sure what's the policy there, what's going on. And we want to make sure that our staff is protected. And that to me is more important that, our nurses are going into a safe situation. So I do have to say that, everybody is great with the recruiters and elevating things and putting it in my direction if there's more help needed. And we're always there to back you and we're on your side.
Can one of you answer this question? Because even if there's some first-time travelers on, I think this is helpful. We give you a lot of information, but when you interview with the facility, let's say they like your profile and they want to interview you, there's a lot of questions that you should be asking the client or at the hospital so that you can get some clinical information. Can you guys talk about that? Because that's really important.
Yeah, sure. So on your interview, it's definitely important for you to ask them a number of different things. Ask about the unit, ask about the types of patients that you'll be seeing on that unit. Also ask about their policy with PPE and, what protocol they have at the moment so that you know exactly what you'll be walking into. You wouldn't want to accept an assignment and then get there on the unit on your first day and have it be completely different from what you had expected.
So the interview is as much for you as it is for the facility. So take advantage of that. Make sure that the ratio that you expect is what it's going to be, that you have PPE available to you, and that you understand the type of patient population that you're going to be handling when you get on assignment.
Okay. Does anybody have anything to add to that? I think that's good.
I think that's great. It's something that's your opportunity to talk directly to the manager. So back with questions after the fact, there we are. We got to go through some of those channels sometimes. So if you have the chance to talk to them directly, ask any questions that you have. Make sure you verify any time off that you needed that was on the submission. Anything like that. If you want to know what the shifts are going to be, what the patient ratio is, sometimes we don't get all of that information. So it's a perfect time to ask those questions.
Yeah, and to add to that, back when I was recruiting, kind of to echo what Carrie Ann said about it's just as much of an interview with you interviewing the facility as it is with them interviewing you. You want to make sure it's a good fit for you. I know that most times these interviews are 15, 20 minutes, and then you're shipping halfway across the country going on a 13-week assignment. So you want to make sure it's a good fit and ask all the questions that you might have so that when you get there, you're not blindsided.
I totally agree. Another thing too, usually you have such a selection. I mean, we have thousands of open orders, and wow, has that, right guys, that has whittled down to like a lot fewer jobs, right? So right now too, when we said before, try to be a little more flexible, just in your assignment. So if you do get an interview, if you want a job, I think you should probably jump on that job for now so that you have one. Because I think the opportunity of a big selection is really narrowed. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah, I can add to that. I think the good news is that the jobs are starting to come back. We did see a big dip and they're starting to come back, but these jobs are filling so fast. Before we would have jobs open for maybe a week to 2 weeks. Now, as soon as the job's posted, it's filled within 24 to 48 hours usually, either meaning they gave an offer already to a nurse or they just got so many submissions that they're taking the job down so that they can review. So my best suggestion, if you are a nurse, is to get with a recruiter, get your profile filled out right away, make it look perfect, and make everything stand out so that as soon as that job opens, your recruiter can call you and you can give the go-ahead to submit. So being in good communication with your recruiter and vice versa. We have our recruitment team. We're making sure that they're getting back to their nurses right away because we don't want you to miss that opportunity. And kind of to go along with being flexible, that when these jobs open, they're getting upwards of 30 profiles sometimes per job order. So if you're requesting block scheduling, you need 2 weeks off, or you can't start until 2 months out. That might not be the best idea, just because if you're 1 in 30 profiles, they might move on to the next candidate. So it kind of goes back to being flexible just because the market is so tough right now.
And I think too, get your paperwork ready, so that when you're ready, like if you can go in a couple of weeks, like you're a better candidate for them, especially now, right? They're moving on people so fast. So if you can get some of your paperwork in advance with your recruiter too, I think that really helps.
Yeah.
Because I have some questions I see coming up, but just to make a statement, just in regards to what all of you are saying, that unemployment is so unusual right now for nurses. Like you've never heard of so much unemployment ever. So these are very unprecedented times where we went from, you can't get enough nurses, where are we going to get staff? They were flying people all over the country to, oh my God, we don't have ER positions and all these other things. So I'm going to start with some of these questions and you ladies can respond. The first one's from Jessica. And she asks, are you seeing any increase in OR positions as we prepare to start elective surgeries again?
Okay, Britt, you could probably take that. And hi, Jessica. Okay, your name is going to go in for the echo dot at the end. Thank you.
Hi, Jessica. Yes, we are starting to see the OR positions open slowly but surely. I think what's happening is as the elective surgeries are opening in these states, they're bringing back all of their staff furloughed employees first, and then we're going to start seeing more and more travel orders. They are coming back though. I've seen some in Texas, in Montana, Colorado, Iowa. A lot of the Carolinas are starting to open up, so they are coming back. But I think in the next few weeks, we're going to start seeing a lot more OR, PACU, and any of the specialties related with the OR.
And I think that's going to happen pretty fast and furious because once they open those floodgates, they're going to need staff.
Yeah, and I think there might even be overtime available because they're going to have all those canceled surgeries are all going to be stacked up now.
But I will say they are moving fast because we have filled some of you guys right in the past week, and it is like there might be one open position and there's like 50 people that have applied in an hour. So that's why I'm saying get your paperwork in, get with a recruiter, get ready. Like get ready to go so that when those positions come, they can just call and say, I have this position, are you ready? And bam, we can send you. So I think that's really important right now.
So the next question, if you don't mind me jumping into the next one, because I think this really adds to what you're saying right now, Cheryl. This is from Jillian Steen.
Hi, Jillian.
How can you make yourself stand out?
Oh, I love this question. Okay.
I think it's a great question.
Yeah, good one.
Jillian, so this is not the time to be humble. When you're talking with your recruiter, definitely tell him or her about any recognitions that you've received, any awards you've received, any special skills that you bring to the table. If you are very strong in a particular skill in your specialty, now is the time to shout on the rooftops. You do not want to be humble right now, because when we send your profile over to a facility, we want to make sure that you really stand out in comparison to whomever's profile is right next to yours. So brag about yourself, about every single position you've had, everything that you've done. And then we will make sure that we highlight all of that, because we really, really want to make sure that we can keep absolutely everyone working throughout this entire time.
Daisy Awards. What are some other things you guys they can put on there?
Any trauma facilities you've worked at, any other units that you've floated to. Floating is huge.
Huge.
Maybe special equipment you've worked on. If you've worked on, different equipment, that would be good. State of the art. Anything to brag about you is great. So definitely, this is not the time to be humble. You're right, Carrie. And anytime, really brag about what you do, because it makes it easier for us to sell you too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you've ever had any charge experience, if you've ever had a preceptor, teaching facility, what the facilities are going to be looking at is they look at what they are as a facility, and then they're going to look at your profile, and they're going to match up basically the same thing. Like if they're level 1 trauma, they want to see level 1 trauma. So anything you can that you've done, make sure to mention, because the more that matches up with the hospital you're being submitted to, the better chance that they're going to take you.
Okay. And Jillian said, thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome.
So the next question we have here, you guys I thought that was a great answers you gave. And the next question we have is, what is GHR's policy regarding guaranteed hours? That's from Andrea Stolberg.
Does anybody want to, Britt, you want to take that? Because it's kind of client to client, right?
Yeah, I can take that. Basically, with the guaranteed hours, that's between us and the hospital most of the time. It depends what we have in the contracts with the hospital. Some hospitals do allow for them to call off once or twice per contract. Everybody's kind of different. So as long as the hospital guarantees us hours, we will make sure that we pay you if they do call you off.
And I would check with your recruiter. That's a great question to ask your recruiter too. And stay in constant communication with them, and they'll share with you.
And your recruiter will get with me, and we'll check with the hospital. We'll look at the contract and just make sure. And as long as you were called off for low census or whatever the reason may be, we'll make sure that we take care of you.
Okay, so our next question is from Deandra Robinson Smith. If a nurse was considering travel, would you say it is best to stay at the full-time job and wait until the market is better?
Oh, that's a good question. What do you guys think?
I don't think so. I'll take this one.
Okay.
I think that it's a good opportunity actually to get some licenses under your belt too that you might not have been able to get before. I know that Pennsylvania was expediting licenses. They take a long time. So to have the opportunity to get one so quickly probably won't come along again. So that's a great opportunity in itself. But we are seeing a lot of facilities that are taking more first-time travelers than we normally see because they need people so bad. So it's a chance to get your foot in the door, maybe at a facility that you might not have gotten into before without the travel experience. A lot of them do have, a 2-year requirement. But I think that it's a good opportunity. It's something, like we said, we haven't seen it before. So it's kind of developing as we go along. But a lot of the facilities are taking a lot more people who maybe don't have 10 years of travel experience. So I think it's a good time to travel. I think the market's going to bounce back pretty quickly.
Rachel, I want to add to that about Pennsylvania. We have a really good presence in Pennsylvania and have a lot of direct accounts there too, and some MSPs. And what we're seeing with the license, right now the license is taking how long, Britt?
I saw one of our nurses got a temporary license in 1 day.
Okay.
Most
and
of them are a day.
Yeah.
It was taking up to 6 to 8 weeks, right, before COVID. So if you're looking maybe to get a job, I would suggest, and they actually, the rates are good there too. So I suggest maybe even starting there. If you've been wanting to get a license in Pennsylvania, because there's really great opportunity there. Now might be the time to apply for a job and try to get a quick license. And I think the temporary license is good for 1 year, right, guys?
I believe so, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really, if you're looking to get a job, opportunities there right now, and the license opportunity, is golden for you.
Yeah, and I also think just on another thing to addressing like with unemployment and opportunities, don't wait till all of a sudden these opportunities hit and now you have to get your resume together, you have to contact your recruiter, do it now. If you want to contact one of us at GHR and, sign up and at least have your name in the paperwork done, you're at an advantage for when those jobs pop up, your paperwork is in. So, you could reach out and, start the process now. So when things do become available and you see something you want, we have all the paperwork and we're ready to go.
Yeah, talk to your recruiter too, or, if you need a recruiter, talk to a recruiter about some of the non-compact states. The licensure really has been sped up tremendously. So if you've always wanted to go to a state that's non-compact, they may still be expediting the licenses. So that would be a good thing to talk to your recruiter about too, if you've been thinking about going somewhere, but the license held you back because it takes so long. Okay, do we have another question, Joanne? Or
I don't see any other questions. If anybody out there wants to ask us some more questions, we're happy to answer anything.
And we're giving away an Echo Dot for all questions. So ask us.
Can I ask one? No.
We want to hear from you. Yeah. Joanne, we had a couple more. I think there were a few more topics though too, right? Did we go through all the topics?
Well, unless you want to address the ER nurse, which I know people were concerned about when that's coming back, but I think that kind of goes along with, what we were talking about, unless anybody wants to add to that.
I like the way that was asked though. When in the world is ER coming back, right? Isn't that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We agree. We have a lot of nurses that want to go to work. Did you guys
$1 million question.
You want to attempt to answer that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Do you want to take it, Brett?
Yeah, and then you can just jump in. Like we've been saying with everything, as states start to open up, as people go back to regular life, they're going to need more ER nurses because you're going to see more things like car accidents are going to start happening. People are going to be less nervous to go to the ER when they normally would have gone to the ER as the COVID kind of died down and cases die down. People are going to be going out again. Summer months are coming up. There's going to be hiking. So you're going to see more injuries. So I think in the next few weeks and as summer starts and as everything opens up, we're going to see a bunch of ER needs start coming back.
And as the ORs open up, we're going to see a lot more people who may have had an infection postoperatively, things like that. So all these needs are going to start, increasing because of it's just going to be a ripple effect of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know if there was any other, I'm just going to look at any of the other topics, but I think we addressed the contract cancellations, right? To read your contracts.
We'd like more questions. We have an Echo Dot. Anyone else have questions?
So we have another question from Andrea Stahlberg again. She said, have you noticed that some facilities are not honoring out-of-state licensure, even if the state is?
I can take that one. Yes, we have started to notice that. I know in the beginning, Like when everything was starting to spike in New York, for example, New York was starting to take any out-of-state license. We at GH were making sure that people did apply for the license so that when that executive order got taken away, you guys were still good to work. There were some facilities that were requiring the license up front, and I think that it's because they don't want to run into that, where if they place somebody and then 3 weeks in, all of a sudden the state says, okay, you need a license to work in the state, then you can't work there anymore. So that's why I think some facilities were doing that. But I don't know how it's going to go in the future with the state boards and if they are going to keep allowing that in certain states.
You know, and I think well, also, Donnie just wrote too, we wrote on the side here saying that New Jersey was also accepting compact, which was really great. There's some really good jobs in New Jersey right now too, with good rates, paying well. So, right guys? You have quite a few people in New Jersey. Mm-hmm. Okay. You know, and I'm thinking too, you know, for anyone that's on a crisis rate too, you know, we said it before, but I think it's very nerve-wracking right now if it's your assignment will continue. Is it going to be canceled? We don't know. We hope that everybody can complete their assignment, but it depends how stable the facility becomes with COVID. So, you know, what I would to talk to your recruiter about getting your next assignment ready. So if you are interested in somewhere else or having another assignment after that, I think it's a good time. Don't you guys think you're talking to the recruiters too? Your nurses are starting to line up their next assignment.
Yeah, we want to map out what you want to do moving forward. So when you're planning out an assignment, don't just plan for the next 13 weeks, plan for 26 weeks, plan for the next 9 months. Get an idea and a map together of what states you want to visit, where you want to go, where you might have family or friends. That way, it's a whole plan that you have with your recruiter, because we're here to make sure that we not only get you a great paying position, but we also get you into a facility that you enjoy working at too.
So as an example, okay, I'm bad with geography. You have the map up there, Britt. You ready? Okay, so that I'm a nurse and I say, okay, I only want to go to Boise, Idaho. Okay, you ready? You got the map up. As a recruiter, our job is to tell you not only what's in Boise, Idaho, but maybe what's in the surrounding area, which could be what, Brett? Uh-oh, we can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Sorry.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Tone it down. I got the geography my strongest suit. Okay.
Yeah, Montana's around there. You have Washington State, Oregon. You might hear the recruiter ask you, well, why do you want to go to Boise, Idaho? Are you going there because you have family there? So I know that everybody has different reasons for traveling. So right now, if you are looking to be a travel nurse, though, we're going to definitely pitch you some jobs that are in surrounding states, because our job is to get you a job. So if we don't have anything in that specific area at the time, we're going to pitch you anything we have, just to make sure that we're not leaving anything out on the table and making sure that we're giving you an opportunity to get a job.
Mm-hmm.
Especially compact states. If your license is compact, we might pitch you, you know, a state that's in a compact state. So an assignment, sorry, that's in a compact state.
And another thing that I know our recruiters have been doing is, because the market is so competitive right now, when we are submitting our nurses to jobs, we take a look at how many other nurses are also submitted to those jobs. So if you're interested in a job that already has 12, 15, 25 submissions, we're letting our nurses know that, to say, hey, we want to be completely transparent. We submitted you to the job. I know it's your first choice, but it already has 12 submissions. What would you like as a backup? Let's submit to a couple of different options so that we're not putting all of our eggs in one basket, considering this many people are already submitted. So make sure that whomever your recruiter is, they're being transparent with you about what they're seeing on their side too. Because if you don't have all of the information, then you can't make an educated choice for yourself too.
I think that is such a great point, Carrie Ann, because I just think that's really important too. So good.
One more thing on that, just to piggyback off of what Carrie Ann was saying. A lot of times we might present options to you for positions that have multiple openings too. That way you might be able to bring a friend with you and travel with a buddy. It's nice to know somebody in the area. So if we have openings that have maybe 10 positions available, you're going to have a much shot of getting that job as opposed to a position that has maybe one opening. Same thing with our direct clients. A lot of the facilities that we have direct relationships with, they know us. They know that we send them dependable, reliable nurses. So they'll go through us first as opposed to other agencies, which is nice because it gets your profile in front of the manager before anybody else's. So I think those are good things to keep in mind too.
Good. I got a little distracted because I was reading, but it's a good point. BJ wrote, we may also push towards places with multiple openings to better your chance. And maybe you could bring a friend too. So Carrie, we were saying sometimes if you go, you might be number 50 in line and you may not even get a chance to interview. So we also push you toward assignments that we know that we can push you right to the top, maybe first, second, or third in line to be interviewed and looked at.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So do we have any other questions right now, Joanne? We're giving
No, I think we're all good. I don't know if anybody else is out there wants any questions. Well, anyway, I suppose we could wrap up here, but I do want to thank Rachel Alton for having us here and Gypsy Nurse for providing this opportunity for us to speak live to everybody and let you know our appreciation. And again, for our direct relief fund that we're doing because our heroes wear masks. And we want to be thankful to all of you and how proud we are of every one of you. And
Thank you
Rachel,
so much, everyone.
Yes.
And then if anybody watching this later on, like you weren't watching this live, you can still ask questions, and I'm sure Louise will be happy to answer them. Once later tonight or tomorrow or anything like that. So they'll be able to still help answer your questions and everything. So I think we can get to the drawing. We had I have my little Google number generator, so I have a special number for everyone that commented or asked questions. So let's see, we had number 2.
Are we doing a drum roll? Are you going to announce the winner now of our Echo Dot?
The winner is. If you want to just message the Gypsy Nurse fan page, we'll get you all set up to get you in contact with DHR and get the Echo Dot sent to you. So, yeah, well, thank you all so much, ladies. Great information. There's so much uncertainty right now, and it's just nice to have experts come on and, really explain like what's going on and as much as you can and all that. So, all right, we're going to sign off. Again, if you have any questions, just put it in the comments. We'll be able to answer them later for you guys. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,